The Nintendo 64 was quite a divisive console when it was released. With the gaming industry shifting from 2D sprites to that pixelated 3D goodness, Nintendo made some bizarre choices with the N64, such as sticking with cartridges just as their newest competitor, PlayStation, adopted CDs. I mean, isn't it ridiculous to think of someone still using cartridges today? Nintendo also went with, let's say, an endearing controller design. How do I hold it? There's a button in the back? How do I hit the D? My fingers don't bend that way. Why is this joystick so sticky? Why is it so sticky? Not to mention its more child-friendly focus in a gaming market that was beginning to demand the more dark and gritty experiences. You know.
For adults.
Yet while these choices did cause Nintendo to lose a dominant position in the market, the Nintendo 64 is often one of the most fondly remembered consoles by many gamers today. From blowing into the cartridge as you desperately hope that it removes the dust, to rumble packs that gave you a heart attack, the N64 will always have a soft spot in our now weakened hearts, and especially in the heart of this particular video producer. Yet what truly makes the N64 stand out in our memories is the games. So with the N64 celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, wait, 25th anniversary, that can't be, wait, let me just, no, it can't be 25 years. What have I done with my life? How could I breathe? Listicle now, existential crisis later. Anyways, since this is the N64's 25th anniversary, let's rank the top 15 N64 games. As always, this is my, Jesse Earl's, personal great fun time cool list. So if your favorite hidden gems like Clay Fighter 63 1/3 or Superman 64 didn't make the cut, it's just because we have different tastes. Also, it's because I hate everything that you love. And with that said, let's get on with the list. Number 15, Mario Tennis. While it wasn't the first Mario sports game for N64, or even the first time gaming's favorite plumber picked up a racket, Mario Tennis was by far Mario's most refined athletic outing. The game introduced a new control scheme where you press one or both of the A and B buttons, allowing you to make the ball spin in different ways, adding in a sense of strategy to the game. Yet it still managed to maintain the arcadey, easy to pick up and play feel that has continued to define all of Mario's sports titles to this day. The game also let you transfer your character stats from the Game Boy Color version, which, while gimmicky, was the exact type of gimmick made for weird and esoteric elementary school kids like some people, not anyone specific. But speaking of weird and esoteric, the real reason that Mario Tennis managed to get on this list is for one simple thing: the introduction of Waluigi. Waluigi, number one. Yes, Mario Tennis was the game that gave birth to the walking nightmare that is Waluigi, and I think we can all agree that that in and of itself earns Mario Tennis a spot on this list. You're doing God's work, Mario Tennis. God's work. Number 14, Conker's Bad Fur Day. Despite its poor sales, Conker's Bad Fur Day is a f***ing good time. Similar in style to Rare's other 3D platformers of the era, though with much more vulgar humor, Bad Fur Day has you exploring numerous varied levels to collect items and complete different challenges in order to progress. But what set Conker's Bad Fur Day apart was its style, tone, and humor. Let's go with that.
All I want to do is pollinate her. Oh, she's got stigmas like you wouldn't believe.
What do you mean? I thought you said you had big...
Yeah.
You play as the eponymous squirrel Conker, trying to rescue his girlfriend Barry after a night of binge drinking. The game is filled with endless amounts of this type of risque humor, such as an opera-singing pile of feces, or a storyline that involves a war between squirrels and Nazi-like teddy bears called the Tedazis? Teddies. Oh, teddies. Yeah, got it. Teddies and not. Yeah, no, that. While the story isn't for everyone, and a lot of its humor hasn't aged, let's say, well, the game has certainly developed a cult following and remains, if nothing else, a memorable experience.
Right, that's it. Piss off. I've got some cats to see. Bloody things. I hate those bloody cats. The way they meow and they piss everywhere.
Number 13, Resident Evil 2. So I know what most of you are thinking. Resident Evil 2 came out on the N64? Yes, it most certainly did. And yes, it's clearly the inferior version compared to its PlayStation cousin. Its backgrounds lacked definition, and character voices sounded muffled by comparison.
Stop it! Sherry's in serious trouble. William implanted her with his embryos. There's no telling when they'll pupate. And if that happens, then Sherry won't. What?
Honestly, it's just simply incredible Angel Studios was able to port 2 CDs worth of game and fit it into a single cartridge in the first place. Despite this though, Resident Evil 2's brilliance still shines through even in a compromised state. Leon and Claire's intertwined stories through the zombie-infested Raccoon City still remained a triumph of puzzle solving and horror. While the gameplay hasn't aged perfectly, especially in light of the game's recent remake, RE2 on the N64 expertly brought the evils of the Umbrella Corporation to the homes of numerous rabid fans, and arguably paved the way for Nintendo and Capcom's blooming relationship that led to a particular future Resident Evil classic.
Don't shoot! I'm a human!
Number 12, Pokémon Snap. Pokémon Snap is one of those love it or hate it experiences. While some found the game, where you play as a photographer trying to gain points by getting interesting photos of Pokémon while sitting in an on-the-rails cart, to be incredibly boring, others found it to be charming and endearing. The joy of the game came from getting a chance to see your favorite Pokemon out in the world, living their best lives, and then throwing apples at them and laughing as you perpetuate the animal cruelty inherent to the franchise. Yet the surprise of finding a new secret by playing with your items or finding a cool Pokemon evolution was truly satisfying. Now, if only Mew would stay still for a single moment. You stupid flying magic mouse. Is he a mouse? I guess he's an alien. Whatever, he looks like a mouse. It's fine. Number 11, Perfect Dark. The spiritual successor to Rare's seminal first-person shooter GoldenEye 007, Perfect Dark showed that FPS games could continue to evolve, despite the N64's controller. The campaign followed Joanna Dark, an espionage agent in the far future of 2023, trying to take down Datadyne, an evil corporation that is allied with reptile-like aliens to become the biggest company on Earth. Wait, does this explain Jeff Bezos?
Could it be you overestimated your influence over him?
Anyways, while the story was solid, like GoldenEye, the multiplayer dominated the conversation. But it was the addition of campaign co-op that truly made this game memorable, and while often forgotten, makes it still hold a place in gaming history, and possibly its future, with a new game in the franchise set to come out soon. Let's just forget that other one even happened.
Didn't anybody tell you? Smoking kills.
Yeah.
Virus detected.
Me and my big mouth.
Number 10, Diddy Kong Racing. Diddy Kong Racing is often overshadowed by the success of Mario Kart 64, but in many ways, it's the superior kart racing game. First and foremost, DKR featured a variety of vehicle types, allowing you to choose between a car, hovercraft, or airplane years before the Mario Kart series made similar edition. The copycats. The game's adventure mode was also unique, allowing gamers to explore a fun hub world and choose how to progress the story. These smaller maps also allowed for more bite-sized experiences, and the boss battles were fairly inventive for a kart racer. You could also play as Banjo, which is just cool. Yet while it has more positives than Mario Kart, it also has more negatives. The game has less item variety, more bugs, and some frustrating mechanics. Despite these missteps though, Diddy Kong Racing still manages to forge its own identity despite the similarities to its Italian plumber rival. Number 9, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. While Rogue Squadron came out a few years before the endless shovelware tie-in games that define the next generation of consoles, it still set the bar for how excellent a franchise game could be. Inspired by Empire Strikes Back's Hoth battle, the game cast you in the role of a Rogue Squadron pilot working for the Rebel Alliance, and allowed you to pilot the iconic X and Y wings through a story that took you to all the classic Star Wars locales. The story even went beyond the events of the Return of the Jedi as the Rebels finally brought down the wounded Empire. You were tracking down all the last little people that were sort of in control of the Empire. It was just so cool. We were all so excited to see what happened after Return of the Jedi back then. The innocence. While it was later outshined by its GameCube sequels, Rogue Squadron still remains an iconic game. Number 8, Goldeneye 007. On the topic of tie-in games, only one has so completely revolutionized an entire genre, and that is 007 Goldeneye. While its campaign, which let you kill a beautifully pixelated Sean Bean in a retelling of the movie, was certainly a standout thanks to incredible set pieces and level design, what people remember most about Goldeneye 007 was its multiplayer. Friends would gather around the N64, try to untangle the cords, and yell over and over again who got to play as Oddjob, and fight each other on 4-player split screen. An experience that would become a staple of FPS gaming for years to come. Now if only I could have got my brother to stop screen looking, that's cheating, jerk. Number 7. Super Smash Bros. Speaking of multiplayer though, Super Smash Bros. Is the game that finally gave Nintendo fans what we had always wanted. The ability to have our favorite characters beat the ever-loving crap out of each other. Endless after-school hours were spent with friends screaming at each other as they made iconic characters like Mario, Link, and Kirby knock each other off inventive and creative stages. While the controls would become more refined in later entries in the franchise, this game was a truly masterful execution of an ambitious vision. Except for whoever gave Donkey Kong his walk grab. That person just wanted to see the world burn. Number 6, Mario Kart 64.
Welcome to Mario Kart.
You knew this had to be here. Mario Kart 64 managed to make kart racing incredibly accessible with its rubber banding methodology, which emphasized using varied items and abilities to keep even novice players in the running until the very last moment. Blue shell! Even beyond that, its tracks are always varied and unique, and the game even packs in a few fun extra multiplayer modes like Balloon Pop to keep things fresh with your friends. Honestly, the only negative I can say is that this is clearly the most boring Rainbow Road in the entire franchise. I think we can all agree with that. I mean, oh look, there's the characters up in the stars, ooh. Oh, and what the hell were with those coconut things that wanted to murder you if you went off the track in the Donkey Kong level? I still worry if they're chasing me. They're in my dreams.
What were they?
Well, it's certainly not the best in the series. There's no denying that Mario Kart 64 is the franchise's most iconic entry. Number 5, Banjo-Kazooie. If Super Mario 64 established the mechanics of the collectathon platformer, Banjo-Kazooie proved that the genre could also have heart and humor. To this day, few games match the charm and wit that Banjo-Kazooie naturally evokes. The quest of the sweet-hearted Banjo and his wisecracking bird friend Kazooie to rescue his sister from the evil witch Grunty is embarrassingly littered with memorable characters and unique locations. Each level has its own flavor and charm, filled to the brim with clever platforming and smart puzzles. Plus, who doesn't swoon after hearing the adorable noises these characters make? Come on, it's so cute! Okay, that was my Grunty impression. I'm sorry. Moving on. Number 4, Majora's Mask. After the sweeping adventure that was Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask's designers decided to take Zelda in a darker, more existential direction. Majora's Mask sees Link trying desperately to stop the moon from crashing into the Earth, forcing him to continually reset the world into a 3-day time loop. While the stakes certainly felt grand, the themes were more personal, with the time loop gameplay forcing you to get to know the intricacies and idiosyncrasies of the doomed denizens of Clocktown, as well as explore a story that many fans theorize mirrors the stages of grief. So, light stuff. Majora's Mask was certainly a risk after the success of Ocarina, but one that paid off, with some fans considering it to be their favorite game in the franchise. You know, if they weren't traumatized by the horrifying mask salesman. Number 3, Banjo-Tooie. I know. I can already hear a ton of you yelling at me.
You like Banjo-Tooie over Kazooie?
Yes, I do. And while I totally understand why some folks love the original more,
This is my list, and you're wrong.
certainly, Banjo-Tooie is a less refined experience than its predecessor, with annoying backtracking sections, overlong repetitive cutscenes, and, let's say, problematic depictions of indigenous peoples of the United States' culture.
Oh, honey, oh, honey, oh, honey.
Huh.
Now
We don't have time to unpack all of that.
Yet Tooie also showcases the rare of the N64 era's growing ambition and desire to keep pushing further. Each world feels more unique than the last. The boss battles felt grand, the puzzles are clever, and the gameplay continues to vary with you unlocking new transformations and abilities right to the end. Even further, the interlocking levels highlight a unique approach to Metroidvania-type game design, one that forces you to think about how best to approach each world. Not to mention, this game doubles down on the darker humor, making for an interesting balance between the whimsical feeling of the first game and the brashness of Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's a fantastic game that I often return to, and if there's any hill I'll die on, it's that Banjo-Tooie is the best game in the franchise. I will die on this hill just like Bottles did. Number 2, Super Mario 64.
It's me, Mario.
If you haven't gotten out your pitchforks and torches, let's talk about another excellent platformer. Because, as a launch title, it's truly amazing how Super Mario 64 not only managed to create an entire genre of 3D platforming collectathons, but still manages to be one of the best there is. This masterpiece managed to feel wide and deep, with seemingly endless levels to explore, and each star feeling just hard enough to collect, yet deceptively simple once you figured out how to acquire them, making collecting every one of them feel like a true victory. Peach's Castle also remains one of the best settings in gaming history, thanks to the many secrets hidden in its walls, making after-school discussions with friends a key part of its appeal. Super Mario 64 could easily go down as N64's best game. Super Mario 64 could easily go down as N64's best game. One second. Will you shut up? I'm trying to do a big build-up and dramatic conclusion here, alright? Sorry about that. Super Mario 64 could easily go down as N64's best game, if only it wasn't for our top pick. Number 1, Quest 64. Hell yes! Quest 64. I mean, how can you not love copy and paste rooms, or that you can't even save without buying an expensive peripheral? This game is just sheer perfection. Okay, sorry. Evans, can you imagine? Anyways, seriously. Number 1, Ocarina of Time. To be honest, I'm not a Zelda gal. Beyond the N64 entries, I've never really been able to get into the franchise, but even I'd be hard-pressed to pick a more epic moment in my gaming memory than stepping out into Hyrule Field for the first time, realizing the grand adventure that awaited me. And also wondering what the hell those spinny clock things were that were trying to murder me. But what follows is a true masterpiece of game design, with an epic yet heartbreaking story that spanned across time, told through dark and endlessly clever dungeons, story moments, iconic music, clever game mechanics, and so much more. The journey through Hyrule is not for the faint of heart, yet it remains the N64's most defining gaming experience. And for that, it will remain number 1. Also, f those chickens, am I right? While it was far from a perfect console, in the end, the N64 had many surprises. While games like Super Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart 64 were simply laying the groundwork for more refined experiences that would come in later generations, games like Ocarina of Time, Banjo-Tooie, and Super Mario 64 still remain eminently playable to this day, and their impacts on games and the people that make them can still be felt reverberating through the modern landscape of gaming. And for that, the N64 will never be forgotten, even after another 25 years. Well, now that the list is done, let me just say, I hear you. I included Conker's Bad Fur Day and not Donkey Kong 64? And how could I forget F-Zero X, or Paper Mario, or Starfox 64, Jet Force Gemini, Wave Racer 64?
Where is Wave Racer 64, Jesse?
I know, I hate me too for this list. This was honestly one of the hardest lists for me to make, and I earnestly would love to see your list in the comments below. But regardless, thank you for watching, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you liked it, and sub for more gaming content. Now back to Quest 64.